What's up, guys? Welcome to the BadAaas Podcast. This is the seventh episode. Today we're talking about MCP. I'm here with Greg.
We made it to episode 7. Let's go. The
Oh,
odds are
yeah.
against us to get to 10.
If we don't hit 10, we're most likely never going to make another podcast. So that's just statistics. But, guys, if you're tuned in right now to the BadAaas Podcast, we're going to talk about MCP today. It stands for Model Context Protocol, and it's what I've been working on a little bit behind the scenes just to really implement into Leader. I call it a secret weapon just because it's literally managing your entire business from a chat prompt. No hype. If your AI is basic, MCP straightens it out, or if it hallucinates. So stick with us. We're going to talk about MCP today. Basically, a nerdy way
I
to
have a
just,
little advice
yeah, go
for the
ahead.
audience, Dan. So, if you have a partner like mine that's really good at marketing and sales, and he starts trying to get involved with MCP, my best advice to the audience is get a really good developer, right? Get some good tech people and keep your sales and marketing guy out of the tech kitchen. Dan, why are you back into MCP? I thought that we have this argument every couple of days. I get the apron off of you, the tech apron. I find you late at night, right, with the apron back on in the tech kitchen. And then the next day, this just happened a couple of weeks ago, one of the developers finds their stuff is broken. It's going haywire. And they're like, what is going on? And it's, oh, Dan was in the tech kitchen last night.
I would agree with you if MCP barely came out, but MCP has actually been out now for 8 months. So I'm a little bit late to the game.
Did I introduce you to MCP?
Most things, you introduced me to it.
The old man in the company introduced the young go-getter to MCP. Something's not right with that. We need to see how the audience feels about that. Something's not right.
That makes sense. For those of you guys who don't know, Greg has an alter ego that we call Glenn. It's a very straightforward, very commanding type of personality. And so I'm going to show you both sides today, actually, in an automation, because
Oh
you
my
need both
God.
sides. My point to that also was like this. A lot of times Glenn comes out during the day when we have work to get done. And so it's only times like these where I really get to see Greg and I get to see his normal side again, where he's not commanding or straightforward.
Well, you just brought up a really good idea, Dan. So one of our podcasts before we get to 10, so one of the next three is just going to be you and Glenn on the podcast. It'll be a
Um,
really interesting podcast.
I'm somewhat excited. I can't lie. I'll just show you a quick glimpse of Glenn. This is Glenn right here. You can see, right? He's a little devil emoji, but we can't forget Greg, right? Greg's the cool guy with glasses, right? So it's very fitting. Life imitates art. And I'm going to show you guys both sides today. But this is an overview of what MCP is. Basically, the problem with language models, and if you guys have used them before, is they always run out of memory. There's only so much you can put into one conversation before you start to hit certain limits. So, hypothetically, right, in theory, some people a long time ago thought, what if I could manage my entire business from a language model? Meaning, imagine logging into ChatGPT and you're like, hey, enter Daniel Beltran into the CRM, send him an invoice for $2,000 and send him the agreement for X service. You could type all that in a prompt and all of those actions would be made, right, from one bot. So on the left is kind of what it looks like without MCP. So you have one language model here, and then it has a billion different apps that it can reach out to. But as you guys know, if you've ever used AI, it will hallucinate very fast. So if you give it that many tools, it will hallucinate and it doesn't really work that well until now, right? Or 8 months ago. But Claude introduced MCP. That's when I first heard about it. Basically, on the right, you can see it's a lot more organized. You have one MCP agent that is connected to all these tools. And that just keeps it a lot more, it keeps it basically more accurate when you're doing these prompts. It's not going to hallucinate. You can do more tasks with less prompts. So this is an example right here. We have Greg, right? So me, a user, I can talk to Greg, and I will show this a little bit later on, but I'll show you the full overview for now. Greg is basically, and I'll break it down, you're the BadAaas AI master bot. And basically the identity is it just talks to people. It's there to speak to the user and basically relay any kind of inquiry to the other bots. So it's a very friendly bot. And you can see it's connected to DocuSign, Notion, and our CRM, which is Go High Level. So again, in theory, if I was going to just type in this chat bot, I could say something like, add this contact, send him the agreement, send him the invoice. And with one prompt, it would send a DocuSign, it would update that client in Notion, and then in high level, send him the invoice in the agreement and whatever else you need to send outside of that. So
The
that's
cool
it.
thing is, Dan, I don't know the answer to this, but isn't it N8N now with their MCP? Doesn't it connect to hundreds of tools right now and they continue to enhance it?
They're always adding more servers to it. And I'm going to show you something crazy, which will kind of answer that question. Is it possible? Can you work with this certain app? So anyways, we have Greg here, right? It's the main bot, but then there's a bunch of other little bots here. So this is one example. This is one that we have for Go High Level. Now, this is where we have Glenn, right? So Glenn is very straightforward. He's just very commanding. He's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. So Greg relays the message to Glenn. Glenn exists in every single agent that's connected to Greg. In this case, Glenn is going to read the user inquiry, turn it into a command, and then send it to our high-level manager. This request in the middle is searching for a contact in Go High Level because pretty much for every single request, you have to search for a contact. So if no contact is found, that's fine. We can still create a contact right here. So you can create a contact, update one, check a calendar, create a note task, or book in the calendar. This is probably 80% of the admin tasks that most salespeople do in a CRM that now can just be straight up automated with ChatGPT or a similar prompt. So Greg was just saying, right, like, isn't it always getting updated and you can always, the latest apps through MCP? Yes, you can. So you can see right here, I have a list tool called Context 7. It's a question mark right now because we have to install the MCP nodes, which we're not going to do in this podcast. Don't worry. But I do want to show you Context 7 because it's important to this, what has not been created yet. But Context 7 is a database of every single app's documentation. So for example, if I wanted to have one of our chatbots talk to Stripe, I could search for that library. So now I have JavaScript, PHP, right? It's all the same docs for Stripe. So imagine if your MCP bot had access to every single bot or every single app's documentation. That would be insane. You could basically just have one bot that knows every documentation ever, and then you could connect it to an HTTP request similar to this one. So it knows how to do a request for any kind of app, and with one module, could take actions in almost any app.
So Dan, I guess a skill level 1 to 10, what can talk to the audience, right? Like build something out like this. What kind of skill level do you need with N8N?
Yeah, you probably need like a 9 or higher. That is pretty difficult to do. Like not even I've done it. I've just looked at the theory. Building MCP just like this, probably like a 7 or 8. It depends how complex you want to go. Like you just have a couple apps, okay, like a 7. It also depends on how hard their API is. And if you don't know anything about API, you're cooked. It doesn't matter how good you are at N8N.
When you say you're cooked, you mean that's good, right?
No, you're cooked. That's very bad. You don't want to be cooked. You want to
But
cook.
the other day I did something good, Dan, and you said you cooked. I mean, so hard. The same word means polar opposites.
Well, no, it's cook or be cooked. You have to cook, right? You can't be cooked.
Oh, or be eaten. Okay, I can relate to that kind of concept. I got it. Okay.
The cook or be cooked world.
You're showing me this. Keep thinking about the divide of the agency, the businesses, and the beginner novices. And look, there's a lot of people getting into the agency space right now. I mean, like there wasn't a lot before, but now with the, let's call it the gold rush, right? This is the gold rush era of AI. Get in and make millions or billions. And is it possible? Absolutely. Like say it time and time again, like is I think the most exciting time to be alive, especially if you want to create a business, run a business, whatever. I'm so thankful for our developers because we're seeing it right with even some of our bigger clients. They have knowledge of these tools. And first, they're aware of them. Okay. Box 1. Checkbox 2. Not only am I aware, I've used them and I've had some small successes. What do I mean by small success? I don't know. I automated one little thing in my business. Okay. Same with an agency, right? Like, love the concept. Tools are there. Are the tools getting easier to work with? Absolutely. I mean, it's helping you build things now. You don't have to be an expert. However, the big gap I think still exists that people don't really talk about is if you want to just do something basic for a business, if you're an agency and they just need one little simple thing done, it's not hard to pull off. But the challenge is a lot of businesses are going to do that themselves. They're going to go find those tools, right? And they're just going to build it themselves. So I think where the market, where I think it's going is you have to automate a lot more inside their business to produce bigger results. You know, AI is like a new shiny object. And you can get a certain level of engagement, certain level of clients just by the new shiny object. Hey, that's an AI chatbot. Hey, it's an AI voice bot. Okay. More and more clients are going to do that stuff themselves. They don't need an agency to help them with that. But we were just talking about that, Dan, before the call, right? There's even levels to that because, oh, I found Vappy. Oh, I found retail. Oh, I found Ultravox, whatever. Found the voice platform. Um, Simple documentation inside those platforms. This is how you do a prompt, right? Okay, prompt. But then you need to know how to work the finer points of the prompt because the AI is only as good as the prompt. And then maybe you partnered with an agency that hopefully has good sales and marketing experience because now it's your experience or your own mental, personal, intellectual property that's going into the prompt that drives the result of the AI. So the AI actually produces results for the business, which at the end of the day, this new shiny object is going to wear off quickly and they're going to want results. And we're seeing that from some of our clients, right? Like we went in and we did okay, but how do we get to the next level, right? How do we produce better results? And so I don't know. It's just, I see a lot of things too as a business owner. I get intrigued and fascinated with what AI can do. And I'll bring it up to you, Dan, or to one of the developers. And like, it's kind of cool, right? It's not really all that. Or if you want it to be all that, Greg, this is not going to like missiles in a day, right? It takes work to get it there. So anyways, I think same thing with, we're talking about N8N, MCP. There's, I don't know, like there's levels to it, right? And how far do you want to go with it? And if you really want to go deep and you really want to get meaningful results for, let's say, mid to larger businesses, you got to really partner with somebody. And then again, this is not a plug for us, but either partner with somebody that has the expertise or really find, developers. And I'll say even finding good developers is a skill in itself because I can't mention any names, right? But it's a recruiting agency, for goodness sake. And they just spent a month trying to find a good developer and hired two, kind of train wreck for different reasons. And they're a recruiting agency. So again, this is why I think like the people that can have the expertise that can build this stuff quickly, or they've already built it. Like in our case, we've built a lot of this stuff and you can just repackage it, right? And we've already built it. It's running behind the scenes, so to speak. And again, not a plug. We're not the only ones doing this stuff, but don't get fooled by MCP and how easy things are. Again, you want to provide simple solutions. Hard. You can do it. Anybody can do it.
Yeah, a lot of BS. Like browser use is a good example. Like not it's BS, but I'm saying there's many like it. Like I do browser, I've tried browser flow. There's some like tools that the moon, and then it's like hard to use. It doesn't work. It feels like it's just a total waste of time. Some of them cost money too. It's a little bit different. It's harder, but it's just a one solution that actually works. It handling Gmail, Notion, high level, you name it. It's all in sync. There's no more tools lying that they'll work and they don't. But
yeah, I think MCP is definitely bringing much more structure to building automations and processes and way to solidify, bring structure to this whole AI automation space. So I think it's extremely valuable.
so yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a quick intro. MCP is something that we've been working on for Leader internally and seeing how we can make our product better. We've been using a lot of this stuff in the car dealership too. So on the next one, we're going to be showing a real case study of Greg's dealership and how we actually implemented some of this stuff.
Yeah, so much potential in the car industry for automation. Are there people out there already jumping into it? Like I met with Podium, and I think they're a real player. I'm big. They serve a lot of industries, but one of the industries is automotive. And it was kind of refreshing to know that we're already at least 2 or 3 steps ahead of them on voice. I think our actually text and chat is better. Yeah, I'd love to maybe showcase some of those things we're doing for the dealership, because who knows, maybe a dealership's going to tune in, or already had a couple of our in the group, right, talk about they want to market to dealerships. So yeah, love to talk about that next time.
So if you love cars, please make sure to like and hit the bell because it's free and it really helps me. I'll see you guys on the next one.